Hello YouTube, welcome to another vacuum cleaner review from me, Steve. Today we're going to be talking about another Vax model, which is the floor-to-floor Total Home, which is currently available from Argos. They've got them at a very knockdown price as I currently speak. This machine is one of the new styles, new range from Vax that appeared in Argos about 6 months ago, and it's, I would have said, an improvement really, a sort of on the Vax Zoom model that Argos have been selling for a couple of years now. This machine is a single cyclonic separation machine. It's very, very similar to the Vax Zoom, which I've also got and I'll be doing a review about at another time. So this machine is currently in the process of being renamed in the current, well, the new Argos book, which comes out later this month. This will be known as the Vax Impact 702, which is basically exactly the same machine as the Performance Total Home floor to floor, which this machine is, but due to the new EU regulations, what they've done is to relaunch exactly the same machine as this, but called it the Impact 702. The power on this machine, power rating, if I can find where the rating plate is. This machine is, let's have a look, 1500 watts. So under the new EU regulations, 1500 watts would be something like grade F for energy efficiency, and what the manufacturers have had to do because of the new regulations that are coming in is anything higher than a 1600 watt is no longer going to be able to be sold in this country. That's from the 1st of September. Anything below 1600 watts is perfectly allowable, but the new labelling system means that any machines at 1600 watts are going to be labelled with a Class G energy efficiency, which makes them sound like power guzzlers, which is not actually the case. What's happened, from what I can see in Argos so far, is that the manufacturers have all dashed out and seem to be putting 700 watt motors in previous old models, which would have previously had something like a 15 or a 1600 watt motor, even with the old Pure Power, which is still going, which was 2200 watts, 2100 watts up until very recently. They're releasing that as a 700 watt model, so that remains to be seen how good that is. But basically what Vax have done, so obviously it costs a lot of money to keep bringing out brand new models all the time. What they've done is basically done a rehash of all the current machines, but just under a new name. And the name that these are going to be going under is going to be Impact 702, and the old Zoom model will be called, I think it's the Impact 504, the Impact 5 series. So if we look at this machine in more detail, what we've got is it's a cyclonic. Here's your bagless cyclone here, and it has, I believe, to be a 10 metre cable on the back of here, and that's actually a very good length. Reach all kinds of sizes of rooms with this. We just take it all off the back here, like so. And what we find with a lot of Vax machines, and indeed Hoover do this as well, and it's not really very ideal, is having the cable coming out from the bottom of the machine here. So what, you know, when you're pushing it along, that then has the tendency to drag on the floor or get caught underneath. Now, something else you notice here as well is that the wheels on this are rather noisy, to say the least. So they actually seem to be rubbing on the casing there. Maybe that's because it's just new, I don't know. So what it's best to do with a cable on this type of machine, where Vax don't actually supply any kind of cable hook on the top here, all I would do is to wrap it around the handle, on around the front, and have it around the front here. And that then, because of the turbo brush attachment, keeps the cable out of the way. And I think that's a rather good way of doing it. So there we go. The bin on this machine is very, very similar in layout inside to the Vax Zoom, and it uses the same type of separation as on the old Power range. So the Power 7, the Power 6 cylinder cleaners, which basically have a one inner cyclone here, which the dirt comes in and it spins round inside this little inner container, and basically gets flung out of the top and into the bottom of the bin. Now that does actually work quite well. I've seen it on the Vax Zoom, and it does separate reasonably well for a single cyclonic. Filter in this is you lift the top up like that and it hinges up, which is a slightly different way of doing it than the old-fashioned system where you used to twist it round and pull it off. Inside here we have the filter, and this has been used, so there's a fair amount of dust build-up on here, but it's the same basic type of filter as you get on most of the Vaxes now. It's a sponge, washable, and as you can see the dust coming off that as I squeeze it away. And that then you can see inside there, which is basically like a single cyclone. I believe, I don't know whether you can pull this out for cleaning. Yes, you can. So that is absolutely as easy as anything to get out and wash that separator, because what we'll find will happen over time is this separator, just put that down here, is perforated in the middle here, and if you've got long hair or long haired pets, they will wrap around here and eventually it will kill the suction. So you've got to keep an eye on that central shroud. And that then, you can see inside here, is the central separator, and the dust comes in from the side and it's flung around the inside of here at high speed, and as it comes up to the top it then gets flung out into the bin and down to the bottom. It's effective and simple, but it's not as effective as a multi-cyclonic, and you do notice a lot more dust build-up in the top of here, which the filter has to separate out. So with these, I mean, they will work, but you need more filter maintenance. And what I recommend with these type single cyclonic is that they get washed out once a month. If you leave it too long, it'll lose its suction, and like any other of these bagless machines, you will do no good to the motor at all, and it'll eventually burn out. So basically that goes back in there very simply. There's a pressure relief valve in the top here, which will start making a dreadful noise if the filter gets blocked here, so that will also tell you the filter needs cleaning or there's a blockage in the hose. That closes like that. The bin release, again similar to most Vaxes now, as you put your finger on the bottom, press that button and out the dirt comes. Very, very simple, and because you've got a large capacity here, there's not really going to be much of getting your hand inside to pull it all out when it gets full. But as most people tend to empty these after every use, then that shouldn't really be a problem. And again, that stands up nice and easily. Let's talk about the other parts of the machine. Okay, underneath the bin we have the exhaust filter. Now, on this machine it is a full HEPA filter, sealed HEPA. To get to the filter you turn this cover, lift it off, and that reveals a pretty reasonable quality paper HEPA filter. Now this really is to absorb the carbon dust that the motor emits, and over time, same as most other cleaners, that will get black. I I'm just looking here, Vax say that you can wash this filter 40 degree max, dry for 24 hours. So it's obviously a sort of a coated, treated paper filter, which is very good. It means that you're not forever having to buy filters for this machine. So the filter just sits in here. Just seeing there, yes, it actually is a sealed filter around the edges, so that's good. What you find with some Bissell cleaners and very cheap bottom of the range is that these filters, they don't have any kind of seal, and they'll say that it's a HEPA media filter. The media is HEPA, but the actual machine isn't, because basically, whilst the filter medium will filter out, all the dust effectively comes around the edges and just gets out anyway, so it's defeating the whole purpose. So that goes back in, that goes on, clicks round. Very simple. On the back, let's have a look here, we've got the stretch hose. Now this is very again similar to the Vax Zoom range, which has been on sale in Argos now for a while. And you've got a long stretch hose on the back here, and that just disattaches from there nicely, easily. It pulls off. So the length of this, you can grab it here and see how long it goes. So that will very, very easily give you a lot of reach on there. I wouldn't say it'll go all the way up a full flight of stairs. Obviously my house is Victorian, it's got very high ceilings, so the staircase is very steep. But I have tried this on the stairs and it won't actually go all the way to the top. It's near, but not quite enough. So what we've got is the handle, very, very similar to the Vax Zoom again. Also like for the air reach and the air models, is that you press that button and you can release the handle like so. It has the turbo brush attachment on the front. Remove that, just reduce the weight. And then what we have, it's not a telescopic tube this, it's very strange the way they do it, is you have the interior there, which is like a, it's an extension basically, and that turns round and plugs into the bottom of here to give you a full length wand. Now, what happens is this hose has a little tiny little lug on here, which is different from the previous Air 3 range, which had a clip on here, which I didn't find very good, and it was forever falling out of the top of the wand. But this one, what they appear to have done is made it in more like a bayonet fitting, so that in the top of the handle you have a little bayonet, like you fit in a light bulb. So the hose goes in the top of here and twists around and locks in. So that is actually very, very secure. I do like that design. That is actually a great improvement on the old Air 3 range. So you can put the turbo brush on the end, and that gives you a fair amount of reach. So you can go right up to the ceiling, with that. It's a good hose. I do like that hose. So that's the turbo brush. It does come with the Vax 3-in-1 tool. I don't know where that is at the moment. I don't know what I've done with that. And the simple reason is because it doesn't fix to the machine. And that's why I don't know where it is, because I've lost it already. It must be upstairs somewhere. But basically, it comes with the same 3-in-1 brush. If I just grab, where are we? Have I got one on this machine? Yeah, this is another one that I've already done a review on. This is the flaws and all. Right, so that they don't have to use confusing names on these machines. Everything sounds similar. Okay. This is the floor to floor, and this is the floors and all. Again, I don't know what this is going to become after September when they do all the renames and the lowering the power for the regulations. But that is the sort of multi-tool that you would get with that machine. Basically, it's a crevice tool and a dusting brush built into one. It doesn't have the upholstery side on there like on the old Vax Air. But then again, you can't have it all. Okay. We'll put that one to one side. So you know, this is a fairly big machine when you compare it to the more compact floors and all. This has a very large floor head area. So let's just disassemble that. It goes back in, like so, and then slots back in there. Now that's not height adjustable. On the Mac Air it has an adjustable height handle, but that is fixed. In other words, once you click it down, it clicks in position and it won't lower or raise. So basically you're limited. We wrap the hose round on the back here. Very easy to do. Round the bottom, over the top, and then it just pushes onto the pipe stub here, which goes to the floor head. Okay. The floor head itself is it's a strange design on this. I've never seen anything like this before. Is that actually it pivots this floor head. Okay. And what they have on the side is a selector that you can select the floor mode between carpet and hard floor. Now that doesn't really appear to do very much when you turn that round. But what it's supposed to do is to alter the position of the brush roll so that the brush roll is not in contact with the hard floor. Okay? On carpet, when you recline it, that then goes flat to the floor, and then the brush roll is in contact with the carpet. On hard floor, it raises that centre section up, so that what you've got is a second channel on the front of here, which is effectively the only time I've seen something like this really is on a carpet washer, where you've got your brush roll, and then at the front you have your separate channel to take all the water up. So on this machine there is actually two air channels. The front piece here is what they're supposed to be saying is good for hard floors. Okay, so that'll work on laminate and stone floors, tiles, but I found that it doesn't work very well on lino. Now I have lots of lino in my kitchen and bathroom. It's not stuck down, and as soon as you push this over it, all it does is suck the lino straight up to that nozzle and cuts off the airflow. So what it would be like on stuck down on floorboards which don't raise up, it would probably be fine. But for use on lino, it doesn't work. I was not impressed with it. So that's hard floor setting and carpet setting. Now what we also find on the carpet setting here is that it stops the suction to this front channel, and it transfers the suction to the brush roll channel. It's like a two-way suction valve. And what happens is that if you've got large items like cat litter on the carpet, is that they will go underneath here, they will get stuck in this front channel here, and they will not get sucked up. I don't know whether that was designed to be, I just don't know, but either way about it, if you've got pets and they leave cat litter like I have, I've got the litter box there, she goes in and out, and she comes out with the dirty paws and leaves the cat litter on the carpet. You push this over, and whilst it will suck up the dust, any large particles that then won't go out into this brush roll section get stuck in this front section here. So it's not really ideal if you're going to be picking up large particles off carpets on the carpet setting. That's one drawback. Let's just put the bin back on, and it just clicks in like so. The brush roll itself, looking at the underneath of the cleaner here, is it's a reasonably well made brush roll with stiff bristles on there. It's very wide. Again, you have the gap here where the belt is, so no cleaning is going to happen there. What you can see then is the second channel here on the front. If I get closer to the camera, this is the channel that it's used on hard floor. So it has rollers here, It rolls along. Again, you can hear those back wheels there, they are noisy. You've got a separate 2 guide wheels underneath there. But on the hard floors, it uses this suction channel and turns that suction channel off, even though the brush roll carries on going round. It's a single belt system, so all the time the motor's on, this brush roll is going to keep spinning. That does lead to other problems as well, which I'll talk about in a bit. But essentially on the hard floors you're sucking through this channel and not through that one. And that is the purpose of this vent, this valve on the side here. It will control the way this goes down onto the floor so that it sort of points it down at the front, and it sort of takes that away from the hard floor surface. Okay. I just said changing the belt on there is a pretty easy enough affair. What they seem to have is a little inspection port here which you can undo. Take the sole plate off and replace the belt easy enough. It's not a tough belt, it's a standard stretch belt available from Vax. What it means as well is if you get something caught in here and jam that brush roll, this belt is liable to snap. Again, it's a problem not just with Vaxes but with any cleaner with this type of setup. You jam the brush roll and it will do damage. Yeah, that is a very, very big floor head overall. And when you compare it to this one, you can see just how much bigger that is. That's a full-size cleaner. That's for large homes, large areas, and basically it's not going to be as nimble as this type. And I was actually quite impressed with this machine. We'll just put that back over here. So that's the cleaner as it is. It's, I would have said, it's actually an improvement on the Vax Zoom, in that the main criticism I had with that was that the handle was sharp on the top. It was unfinished and it was very uncomfortable to push round. This one, it's got a dedicated handle. It's nice to grip, and when you recline it, it's very, very comfortable to push around, if not very noisy with the squeaky wheels. And that's one thing I wish Vax would do, is better quality control before these things leave the factory. So let's plug it in, give it a quick go around. So what we can do, I will empty some dirt onto the carpet that I picked up yesterday in this machine. And again, that's another problem with these, is that if you do it this way you have to get your hand in to empty it all out, so I'll just get it out this way instead. And we'll see how well this machine get it all ground in like that. I mean, there's everything in here. This is dust, bits of my hands are filthy. This has come up from the upstairs that I've been cleaning up there over the last few months, and I've saved it up, much like Roger does in his reviews, to do this review with. Back on there, and then what we do, get our cable, wrap it around the top, turn the machine on here, and notice it's got a soft start motor, and it's actually rather quiet. Lower it down, and off we go. is that this machine will not lie flat to the floor. You get none of the low items. It will not lie flat to the floor. See the dust there all spinning around inside, and that's done a reasonably good job picking all that dirt up. Let's just check how much time I've got left on the camera. Okay, so it has left a few of the larger particles here on the carpet. Again, I think what's happening is they're getting trapped inside this front compartment here, so they're staying inside here as you're pulling it backwards and forwards. It's not 100% pick up on carpets, this machine, because of this front channel, but if you want to clean it, it's a reasonable price for everyday use. It's not a bad machine at all. I would give it 8 out of 10, this machine. They're currently going in Argos, these, for about £75 at the moment as the performance floor-to-floor total home. The impact machines, when they come out, will be exactly the same as this, but I would say they will have a lesser power motor. But would I recommend it to a friend? Yes, I probably would. They're not perfect, but you know, for the average family, they'll do the job. I mean, I can't do a demo on hard floors here because I've only got lino in the kitchen and bathroom. It's such a small room that I have to do all my demonstrations on the living room carpet. There we go. That's the review of the floor-to-floor total home, soon to be called the Vax Impact 702. Until next time, goodbye.